hey, what the hell do I do with Kevin Durant? It's me, Dr. Nick, and you, Fauzi, who isn't a Kevin Durant owner, but probably has opinions on Kevin Durant. How are you feeling about his left calf strain? How are you feeling about that?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel like I really care because I don't have him. Do you have KD?
Well, well, I don't have KD either, but I am a Phoenix Suns fan. So what do I worry about with KD? Well, do you know the last time he had a left calf strain?
Was that when he rolled his ankle too? Just after that.
No, that was when he was in a deep playoff run on his potential three-peat with the Warriors, and unfortunately came back early
Mm.
because the Warriors were down, and he tore his Achilles. And a calf strain is not good. And he currently is on a at least 2 weeks recovery timeline. But do you know the last notable player that had a calf strain that we didn't see for almost 4.5 months?
Do I look like a stats guy here?
Why aren't you with it? So, Carl Anthony Towns had a calf strain the other season with Minnesota and didn't really get a lot of court time with Gobert. He never really got a proper timeline and actually didn't return for about 4 months. I'm really nervous about this because Kevin Durant was balling out, and Phoenix is clearly in a position where they can do two things with Kevin Durant. Maybe they can trade him because he has value, or maybe they can use him to push for the finals because that's ultimately what Phoenix is trying to do,
I think it's
right?
not
Those are the two
KD.
options. Okay.
0%.
All right, 1%, because I don't think it's Willow. The point that I'm trying to make is they have to make an option with Kevin Durant. There is no reason 9 games into the season, 10 games into the season, to force him to play. He is going to rest now because they're top of the West currently. This gives Beal a chance to be number two next to Booker and see what's going on there. He is going to rest for longer than 2 weeks. So what am I proposing here? I'm proposing be open to trades. This is the watch aspect that I referenced before. I need you to be open to trades. I need you to be open to conversations because you have an MVP candidate who currently doesn't have a serious injury that can return and be just as good as they were beforehand. And he's proven that he can come back from injury really well. The thing that makes me the most worried, and this is where you can soundbite me and then write in the comments that this looks stupid. Yeah, he might come back in 2 weeks and he'll be perfectly fine. He also might come back in 12 weeks and not look perfectly fine. This is not a good injury for a person who's had a pre-existing injury. That's the main concern that I have with Kevin Durant and this calf strain. He had a sore shoulder. I don't care.
I feel like this is a good point where we need to also, when we share some of these thoughts, consider some context. And I think
What, that
you
it's the 11th of November and it's 9 games in? Yeah,
let
just
me let
just
me
in case.
the context that I'm referenced to is that, like you said, the context with Phoenix is that you guys are near the top of the ladder in the West, and therefore you have some wiggle room for patience. Yeah. And guess what?
Mm.
In fantasy land too, as a fantasy owner, it's the same context. So we just had a laugh before where Billy, sorry man, you're last 7-20. You should probably start to get a little bit urgent before you fall to like 10 and 25. Yeah, and it only goes further downhill for you from, from week 3, right? Context is important. So here's the catch. If you have KD and you're in a position to just stash him or even absorb him as a second player that's out and injured on your roster while you're still in the top sort of 4 of your league or top 5 of your league, I would say you do not try and trade him. Okay, I think KD is a player that has proven that he can just come back, yeah, and produce. He's just always balled out. He's always balled out. Even though now he's like older and stuff like, he's always just balled out. And Phoenix will want him to come back. And yes, they'll be cautious with him. I 100% agree. They're not going to rush him back. They don't need to rush him back because of the context that they're doing well already. Yeah, okay, in that sort of sense. It's the same thing with fantasy. It might be a different story if you're last and you have KD. Okay, now you need some sort of production. Okay, you need some sort of production. All right, how far behind can you fall before you then totally fallen off the race? To play fantasy finals. That's something you need to decide there. So at that point, maybe you're trying to shop him. I can't see you getting value for KD. That's the thing, though. Yeah, I don't know who out there you'll try and focus on targeting for KD that you could convince the other owner to sell on. You'd almost need to, really say positive in that sort of sense, to get like for like value there. But context is important, man. So I think KD, I think I would, if I had him, and I'm obviously like fourth, I think at the moment, I would not be shopping him either.
Fair. I think the reason why I'm hedging, I also like I'm probably taking the more pessimist route here, but right now the prognosis is good. That's a good diagnosis. He's just resting to, rest his calf. It'll be when it gets to 2 weeks. So, maybe this is the end of the month. If he's not back and they say, oh, he's expected to miss another 2 weeks, that's when his value starts to plummet real quick because the severity of the injury or the unknown aspect of his return starts to work against him. So, yeah, you could be selling way too early and way too high on Kevin Durant as a panic button. I'm pointing it out because, and this is the main thing, this is the context that you missed. This is his personal context, as in, this is his calf that was previously strained that led to an Achilles injury on a repaired Achilles. He's also 36 years old. I know he plays really well, but
I
he
think
is older.
I think that's a like for like here. I just pull up his stats. Yeah, so it's about 27 points. What six? Yeah, 6 rebounds, about 4 assists, 1.4 blocks at the moment. But the best thing, and this is why I targeted him last season. I traded for him, part of my whole maneuvering and giving up Luca. There, he's shooting 55% from the field, 42% from three, and nearly three threes a game. Obviously, we're not playing percentages this year. Around 80+% from the free throw line, which he's always shot well from the free throw line. Anyway, who would you target? Yeah, who would you target? You'd need to send him out for someone like Wemby or Jokic or not even Luca. I would if I had KD like just like last season. I sent out Luca and bought KD in. I would not say do that the opposite way around. Yeah, Luca gives you raw stats. Okay, across the board more because he nearly averages a triple double, even though he's having a real down year. And right now he's like his turnovers and field goals from what I've seen are killing it even more than they did last year. Yeah.
Mm.
I just don't think you're going to get like for like. I'm never a big fan of trading one for two because you eat up two roster spots. Yeah, let's say you could get, I don't know, like a Julius Randle and I don't know, like a Scotty Barnes. Yeah, that's not a bad haul. Let's say you got Julius Randle and Scotty Barnes because Scotty Barnes is out right now. So you try and convince that owner to go, well, he's injured, so he's not playing. I'll give you KD. He'll be back in 2 weeks' time. I don't think you win that trade. I don't think you win that trade, even though you're potentially getting two 20-point scorers back. Yeah, I don't think you win that trade, and that's my opinion. That's why I would not be, unless you're last, yeah, and you really need to do something, shake up your roster. And even with that sense, there's still maybe there's ways we can break this down, but later. But it's like there's still the things you can do besides giving up on KD right now. I wouldn't buy on that.
That's all good. That's all good. I actually want him to be perfectly fine because Phoenix looked good this year, and it could be our year. Who knows?